people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman. I love what she's doing. She's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
And I'm telling you right now, it's getting so hot. We want to talk about everything. We're going to talk about Rick Sanchez being fired by CNN. That thing is exploding. We've got a couple videos up on Conservative New Media on YouTube, and that thing is just blowing up. Everybody's talking about it. We're also going to talk about Meg Whitman and the whole quote-unquote nanny gate. I'm actually going to play Meg Whitman and what she should say to deal with this. She has a debate today with Jerry Brown, and it's on a Spanish language channel. It's being hosted by them. I wanted to know what people think about that. And I want to hear from all the people out there that don't like Meg Whitman. I know them well. The people that like Shalene Nightingale, that want to see someone else that says, hey, Meg Whitman's a rhino. I don't trust her. I don't like how it went down. I need you to call up and tell me what's going on, because I'm going to set you straight, and I'm hopefully going to set the Meg Whitman campaign straight, because I know that they listen to this program and they listen to everything I've got going on here. 866-770-5556. 866-770-5556 is how you join the program. We're going to do a special situation today. We're having extended action in the chat room and stuff later. We're doing 2 hours today, and you can join. I may even take my shirt off later. I don't know. But let's start with this. Without any further ado, Rick Sanchez, CNN's anchor, was fired after calling Jon Stewart a bigot. Now, I know a lot of people have heard about this, but if you haven't heard, let me get you fully up to speed. This is this is from the Associated Press, and it was on FoxNews.com, and it was CNN's fired news anchor Rick Sanchez on Friday, a day after he called Jon Stewart a bigot in a radio show interview where he also questioned whether Jews should be considered a minority. Now, basically, if you don't know the history of this, Jon Stewart has poked fun at Rick Sanchez many times. And I have called Rick Sanchez the quote-unquote Alan Grayson of news anchors, because he says so many explosive things. And let's not even talk about what's going on in his personal life and the hit and run thing and all that type of stuff, but just what he says on the air is so crazy. And so, there was some back and forth there, and then Rick Sanchez on this program said about Jon Stewart, quote, he's upset that someone of my ilk is almost at his level. And he goes on, this is on the Pete Dominick show, a satellite radio show, right? I believe it's a Sirius satellite. And Sanchez said Stewart is bigoted towards, quote, everybody else that's not like him. And he said that Stewart, quote, can't relate to what I grew up with, saying that his family had been poor and that he had prejudice against his father because his father was a Cuban immigrant. And then Sanchez dismissed it when Dominick points out that Stewart, who is Jewish, is also a minority. And this is what Sanchez said to that. Quote, I'm telling you that everyone who runs CNN is a lot like Stewart, and that a lot of people who run all the other networks are a lot like Stewart. And to imply that somehow they, the people in this country who are Jewish, are an oppressed minority, question mark, Sanchez said, adding a sarcastic, yeah. And then he goes on. And he said, quote, I can't see someone not getting a job these days because they're Jewish, unquote. That is explosive. And I want to know what you think about it at 1-866-770-5556. And I want to know a couple things. One, what do you think about what he said? Because we've had all kinds of comments from the whole range on our YouTube videos on Conservative New Media on YouTube. And number two, do you think that he should have been fired? That's what I want to know. Now, I've said it before. I'm almost a free speech absolutist. I think what Rick Sanchez said was completely stupid. I think the guy is an idiot. And, also, it's not too smart to take massive shots at your boss out there on national radio. That's not too right, okay? But should he have been fired? If you were his boss, would you have fired him? I mean, the guy's going to get some ratings out there. It's a PR hit. I don't know. What do you think about that? I think he's an idiot. I don't think he's that talented, in my personal opinion. And also from Rick's, and what's up with all this? And here's the thing that also concerns me. And we saw it about the Ground Zero Mosque, or Park 51, whatever you want to call it. that, all this, President Obama, we don't want to be anti-Islamic. And I agree with him. We don't want to be anti-Islamic. We're for everybody, dude. This is America. Everybody's welcome here. But a little poll came out that I knew about this because I have lots of Jewish friends, lots of Israeli friends. My girlfriend's Israeli. One of my best friends in law school, we're going to be hanging out here soon, and went on to MBA school, got a Palmer Scholar, everything. This guy's brilliant. He's Israeli. Now, that what we found out is yes, there's problems with discrimination, this and that, whatever, but who's the number one most discriminating incidents out there in the world? Jewish, anti-Semitic. That's 8 times the anti-Muslim type of stuff that's going on, according to this poll, if you believe it. So, what's up with that? And I'm worried that we're seeing that rear its ugly head again here over, not only just in America, but definitely over in Europe, stuff like that. People need to learn how to get along and stop being stupid. And what's up with Rick Sanchez saying, poor me. Dude, it seemed to work out for you. You were an anchor on a national news program there. You had 2 hours when really almost 4 hours. Where's the oppression? What a baby. I want to talk to Paul. Let's get him in on here right now. Paul, what do you think about this situation with Rick Sanchez, man?
I think that it exposes a lot of the kind of hidden bigotry that some people on the right feel. And what I mean by that is Rick Sanchez has taken a lot of shots at the Tea Party, at people who have criticized Barack Obama and the Democratic Congress. And it looks right now as though he might better get his house in order before he calls out others.
Yeah, there's that. Now, let me ask you, let me put you on the spot. Do you think that he should have been fired? And if you were his boss at CNN, would you have fired him?
I think that he was fired very quickly. We've seen people who have made other controversial statements get a longer rope, so to speak, than Rick Sanchez did. Would I have fired him personally? You know what? I might have, because I don't think he's the greatest host in the world. And there was a remark made by Dave Zerwick of the Baltimore Sun, a TV critic, basically said, look, maybe Rick Sanchez was tied to John Klein, the CNN director that just got fired. Maybe John Klein was the guy kind of keeping him afloat, and they were just looking for a reason to unload him.
And that wouldn't surprise me. We know how the media stuff works. And, there's no doubt about it. It's a very volatile business. So something like that wouldn't surprise me. And if they wanted to get rid of the guy, here's the reason. But I'm saying that, here's my thing. I think Rick Sanchez is an idiot. I don't think he's a great talent at all. I don't think he's a very bright bulb, in my personal opinion, whatever. I don't have a big, huge brief against the guy, other than he's trying to, in my opinion, go on this Alan Grayson style to sort of get out there and get ratings, stuff like that. And look, that's fine if you want to be an opinion guy. If you're trying to be the hard news guy, then whatever. But as we know, the whole, news and entertainment and opinion have all been blurred and blending, because as much as these guys want to all, whine and moan and act like they're Edward R. Murrow or something like that, the bottom line is ratings. And no matter what program you are, if you can't get ratings, you're not happening. You won't be long in the situation and long in the business. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, I don't like all this PC thing, you said this, we need to fire you, we need to boycott you. It's your right to do all that, but man, people need to grow up and stop being babies. No matter what Rick Sanchez says, or said or didn't say or whatever like that, it didn't matter. It went to Jon Stewart. If anything, it got him more, ratings and sympathy and stuff like that, whatever. Jon Stewart has just as much money and ratings and viewers as he did yesterday, whatever. Again, if because he said something stupid, you don't want to watch Rick Sanchez anymore, that's totally fine. I'm cool with that. But all these calls for boycott, this and that, whatever, like they ran Imus off, his program, and I'm not defending what any of these people are saying. I'm just saying that I want to see us get to a little higher level here. Paul, we're going to hold you in the break. We're also going to be talking to Craig DeLuz here in a second about this situation and the Meg Whitman situation, and we're taking your calls all up next on the John D. Villarreal Show on the Conservative New Media Radio Network.